Welcome to class, everyone. It's wonderful you made it here tonight, Megan and Albert and Alicia. So tonight's practice is on softening and letting go. So I invite you to sit. Come onto your mat and cross your legs or sit in whichever comfortable way for you. And then I'm going to mute you. At the end of the session, you're welcome to unmute yourself, to share or ask, or stay where you're at. And as you sit, give yourself a moment to close your eyes. Close your eyes and soften inwards. So a softening practice sounds like a very beautiful practice, and it is. At the same time, softening and letting go is always a thing of distraction and a thing of it's something violent almost. We have to let go of something, and there's a grieving in it, and there's pain and discomfort in it. And there's the challenge of wanting to hold on to what's familiar. So letting go always at the same time means that we are stepping into something new, into something different. And as we step into things that are different and new, we are challenged. We are always in a space of discomfort, always in a space of probably fear, something, lots of emotional things coming up as the mind wants to keep us safe. So today we'll play with this edge, we'll do a bit of breathing and some things that are really softening and help us to let go, and then we'll hold a couple of postures where we find ourselves on that edge of what we're familiar with, what we're comfortable with, and we observe and witness what our patterns might be as we step onto the boundaries of our comfort zone. So it's a very beautiful and very powerful exploration, always keeping in mind that, at least for me, yoga practice is really not about becoming good at yoga. It's about learning for life. It's about finding tools and nuggets that we can use in life. So with your hands resting on your thighs and your eyes closed, see if you shift your shoulders forwards and back, see what happens. See if you can slide your shoulder blades up and down your back ribs and towards the spine and away from the spine. Just tiny little gentle movements. And then actually letting the shoulders drop and soften down towards your pelvis. At the same time, to be able to let go and soften, we need some strong foundation to stand on. So really feel earth underneath you. Feel your feet, your sit bones resting on earth. Allow your eyelids to soften. There might still be a lot going on. Space between eyebrows and forehead, just soften. Soften your lips and your cheeks, and notice what's alive in you this moment. Maybe you feel busy, anxious, but whatever is there, welcome it. Acknowledge what is there. If it's a sadness, a joy, really whatever it is, without judging it, you welcome it. Because there is no letting go unless we accept what is. There's no way of letting go from a space of resistance. So we first welcome whatever is this moment, maybe even a stiffness in the body or a pain. Welcome it and acknowledge it. Hold it and honor it. Breathe into it and breathe space around it. And let this moment be exactly as it is. Continue to drop out of head into breath, into body as you breathe. And as we anchor our attention with breath now, shift your awareness, your focus onto the exhalations. So every inhale, there's a sense of expansion, a sense of lightness, but really focus on the exhalation as an opportunity to empty yourself out. And whenever throughout practice today you feel like breathing out through your mouth, then that might be what works for you tonight. And letting inhale come, it comes all by itself, but focusing on the exhalation, letting it go, softening it out. Whatever is there, alive within you, that might need a bit of softening, whatever is there that might need a little bit of letting go, a bit of release. I'm going to join you on the mat. Maintaining this focus on the exhalation, we are just going to gently start to move, hinging forwards and back on the sit bones. And starting slow and gentle, and your eyes may be still closed, and then take the movement a little bit deeper, a little bigger. And letting it be organic. Let your spine round as you reach onto back sit bones. Let your spine arch as you come forward. And maybe moving head, moving with intention. So maybe lifting chin, lifting neck. Whatever allows you to release and let go. Maybe you want to lift one ear at a time up to ceiling as you move. And then come to center. Center yourself out, sit high and tall, and lift your chin, just your chin. Lift your collarbones and your sternum, just lifting through the front body. And with your next exhalation, drop your chin, exhale through your mouth, lift through the neck. Inhale here long and tall, and maybe exhale your chin a little deeper down, and then lift your chin as you inhale. And when you're ready on your exhalation, you drop it down. And coming to center, right ear to right shoulder. Moving gently. And inhale to center, and as you exhale, you drop left ear to left shoulder. And soften here. Coming to center, right ear to right shoulder with your exhalation. Inhale to center, and left ear to left shoulder. Coming to center, and then do what feels true for you. If you feel like circling your head, drawing circles from the neck, you can do so. If that's not right for you, maybe rolling shoulders forwards and back. So moving with intention, dropping out of head into senses, into feeling our body. And we find our center, we reach our arms out to the sides, let our fingertips come onto mat, and then walk our hands out and away from our hips. Reach tall into your crown, spread your fingers wide, and then spread them even wider, and then even wider, and reach your arms even longer. And every time there is resistance within you, breathe it out, maybe opening mouth and sigh it out. Let it go. Let yourself ground, feel earth underneath. On our inhalation, we'll rise our arms to the sides and up. We turn our palms down and exhale, moving hands through space, coming back down. Inhale, rising arms up, expanding, and exhale, releasing it out. Inhale again, reaching up, filling yourself up with whatever might help and might serve you right now. And exhale, the hands come down and away. One more time. Inhale, rising up. And exhale. Long, deep exhalation. Slide your right fingertips out to the side. Keep your left sit bone grounded, maybe even using left hand to deepen your left hip down, and then left arm comes up, or it might come up and over. Soften roll your shoulders, feel your shoulder blades slide, maybe arch and round your spine, feel space, and reach and look up, turn your gaze up towards the ceiling, roll your top shoulder back, slide your bottom shoulder blade down and away, breathe yourself spacious. Breathing, every inhale is space, with every exhale, You soften where your body resists, and you soften even further. And another inhale, another exhale, and coming to center, pausing with the arms up above our head, noticing the sensations. And exhaling, our hands through the sides and down onto mat. Sliding left hand over to the left, maybe right hand grounding, right hip, right sit bone. And right arm upwards or up and over, using breath. Every inhale, expand, and then bring your focus to the exhalation and soften into the side bend. You're welcome to round and arch your back, to slide your shoulder blades away from one another and towards one another. And every exhale, you soften a little deeper. Letting go of any tension you might have built today, or this week, or this lifetime. Breathe it out. Ground through sit bones, trust earth underneath, and breathe yourself soft into the space. Coming up, reaching arms up and away. We exhale to reach forwards onto the front sit bones, and then we let our torso fold and drop. Turn your palms up in a humble pose of opening palms. Soften your knees apart, let your spine relax, tailbone reaches down. And then round yourself back up to sit. Roll your shoulders as you come back, and your hands come down behind you. As you lift your sternum, lift your heart. Open the gaps, open the spaces between your ribs. Lift a little higher and come to center, arms out to the sides. Cross your legs the opposite way. Hinging forwards and back on your sit bones just to find the center, and then folding forwards again with a deep sense of softness. Turning palms up, elbows pointing down. Let your shoulder blades slide apart, let your head hang. Breathe along your spine, length on every inhalation, and surrender and soften with every exhale. Round yourself back up to sit, and come onto hands and knees, however that suits you. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, hip wide apart, toes pointing back. And then moving with intent, lifting sternum, lifting sit bones, hugging elbows into hips. And exhale to round it out. Flowing with your own breath. Every inhale, maybe arching. Every exhale, maybe rounding. Or your body might guide you somewhere else. Let it guide you. Keep your focus on your exhalations. Inhalations, just let them happen. And exhalations, very conscious. Breathing it out. And see if you can exhale a little deeper than you ever have. Let's do one more inhale to arch. One more exhale to round. Find your neutral spine. Bring your right shoulder to right hip to right shoulder. Go the other way. Squeezing into left side, left shoulder, left hip. Connect. And coming through center, moving side to side. Maybe you look over your shoulder, at your foot, at your hip. Keep your neck long and in line with spine. See if your exhalation can guide you a little deeper into the pose. And once you're evened out, coming to center, tuck your toes. Have another look at your hands, spread them out wide. Make sure they're ready to take weight, and then pressing hands forwards as your sit bones lift high. You might want to lift one heel at a time, or shake your head no, nod your head yes. Have a look straight down at the mat so that your neck can be in line with spine. And melt your heels towards mat, whatever that means for you. Point your elbows gently towards feet and soften your heart down towards the mat. We'll shift our weight into left foot and rise our right leg up. More of an exploration than it is a pushing. Right foot comes down. Notice weight shift into right foot, and notice where you might be creating tension in your body. And soften, left leg lifts.
Relaxing your toes, left foot comes down, right leg lifts. Notice where you're resisting. Right foot down and left leg lifts. Keep looking down at mat, keep your neck long, keep your heart open. Left leg comes down, right leg lifts. Feel how your feet, your balance changes and shifts in your body. See if you can go a little deeper as your right foot comes down and left leg rises. Notice the difference between the sides, keeping hips and chest level. And let's do that one more time. Leg down, opposite leg up, reaching and rising. Swapping sides, making sure you evened out. Lifting it up and bringing foot down. Feet hip wide apart or maybe even wider. We bring our hands towards feet. We bend our knees deeply, grounding into our foundation so that our torso can just hang. Maybe your chest rests on your thighs. Shake your head no and nod your head yes. Rolling shoulders. Bring your attention to exhalations. If you want to straighten one leg at a time, you do so. Just hang here. And then bend your knees a little deeper, really ground through feet and then come up to stand. Come up, stack up. Soften out, feel earth under feet, allowing your body, your neck, your shoulders to soften. And then we drop our chin to chest and we'll roll ourselves forwards again into another forward fold. Hands hanging, sit bones rising, head hanging. Breathing ourselves soft. We bend our knees again and roll ourselves up to stand. And we roll our shoulders back and away. Finding yourself on your feet, a little wider than hip wide. We let our arms hang and we start to sway from side to side. We twist from the hips and we let our hands, our arms slap us. So there's the strength in your center. Every inhale lets you grow tall. And then you soften. If you like to connect breath and movement, then you inhale as you come through center and you breathe it out as you look over shoulder. So cleansing breath. Focus on the exhale. Feel your navel lift up and in. And slowly balance yourself out. Let your arms flop. And let your body find its center. Centered above your feet. Centered between your feet. Lifting tall through your crown. Reaching arms out through the sides and up. Soften shoulders down as you sit into Utkatasana in a very organic way. Bring your hands onto knees. Just gently cupping them as you inhale, you arch your spine. It's the same thing we did on our hands and knees. As you exhale, you round it out. Inhale comes automatically as we open our chest forwards, and exhale to round it out. Inhale to open up, and exhale to inhaling through your nose, and exhale to till you're empty and your breath comes all by itself. And find your neutral spine. Find the length in your spine, the position in between. Rise your arms forwards and up. Inhale here, and we exhale to fold. We let ourselves hang, soften and rest. We have a look at the front of our mat, and we find our plank. Hands shoulder wide, feet hip wide. And your knees might be there to help you, or your knees lifted. And let's stay here for a moment. Stay here. And notice that holding something that's uncomfortable also is a process of letting go. Can we embrace what is and let go of our resistance? Can we let go of that I, me and mine that wants to be comfortable or that wants things to be a certain way. Can we just be with what is? And when things get really challenging, maybe you close your eyes, turn your gaze, your inner gaze to third eye center. And keep your focus with your exhalation and just stay. Challenge yourself to stay. Let go of all resistance. Let go of all ideas about how this should be, what you like, what you don't like, and simply be. Just be curious, open, spacious, observing, noticing, whatever arises in you, welcome it and breathe it out. Wherever you're creating tension in your body, welcome it and breathe it out. Become light and efficient. And take another inhale. Here we exhale it into down dog. Well done. Notice what happens and shifts within you. Now be in your down dog for a moment. When you're ready, lift your right leg up to ceiling. Look forward, see the space between your hands, and land your right foot between your hands. Left knee comes down onto mat, point your left toes back. And now we soften into hip joints, into left hip flexors. Notice the sensations there, gently sway left and right. With curiosity, notice you might be tensing up your shoulders or jaws. And then left hand under shoulder, walk your right foot to outside edge of mat and bring right hand to inner foot. And maybe you're here on your hands and you're good where you're at. You might be able to come onto elbows. And now fully surrender into gravity. Surrender. Bring your hips to be parallel towards the mat. Turn your palms up. Let your fingers curl in. Relax your shoulders. Open your thighs away from one another and notice where it's sore, where it's tender. See if you can soften there. Notice where you're resisting this, maybe in your mind, in your body, and guide your attention there. Focus on your exhalations and give yourself permission to be with whatever emotion and whatever sensation is there right now. See if you can even invite some more of it in. Give it a smile and give it some love. Continue to breathe it out. Whatever is tense, breathe it out. Notice that it's never our circumstances that create our experience. It's our thoughts about what is that make our experience. So embrace this deeply and find the joy and pleasure in exploring our body in ways we might never have. And let's take another deep inhale and exhale yourself empty as you come back onto hands, slowly lifting up. Keep your left hand under left shoulder, right hand onto knee. And maybe just that. If you feel like going a little further, lift your back leg up and see if you can grab the foot. And now this is probably a boundary of our comfort zone. See if you can sink your hips. Notice how you might be holding tension around your hips. Take a look at your right toes. When I get tense, my toes hold on to mat, so maybe you do that too. Soften them. Keep drawing your foot closer if you can and continue to soften into hip flexors. Continue to point your tailbone down and forwards and lift your heart. Can you maybe lean your head back, roll your shoulders back and lean back into yourself. Resisting, contracting in response to pain, in response to discomfort. Are you still connected with your breath? Let go of the foot. Bring your hand back to inner foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, gently move forwards and back, and roll your back heel down onto mat. So stay where you're at, I'll just turn around. So turning the back heel down onto mat, the pinky toe side is going to be parallel to the short side of the mat. And then I invite you to just shift and move forwards and back. If you can keep your hands where they are, you're welcome to do so. Keep pointing your knees away from one another. Keep your hips low. And remember to focus on your out-breath, on your exhalation. As you gently move through this, if your hands want to move, they may move too. And we're working with hips. For most people, hips are very uncomfortable to work with. We hold a lot of trauma, stress and tension in our hips, so opening them is challenging. See how you face this challenge. See how you work with it. Maybe you recognize patterns that you play out in your day-to-day life. And we'll meet with our right knee above our heel, roll back onto left toes, hands shoulder wide, grounding into hands, and we'll reach our right leg up towards the sky for a moment, for a bit of lightness, a bit of expansion, and right foot comes down onto earth. Walking on the spot, walking out your down dog. Feel your hands reach forwards. Before we move on to other side, let's bring our knees as wide as the mat. Bring your big toes to touch behind you. And then sit yourself onto heels if you can, or stay on hands and knees for a moment. Sit yourself up if you can. Gently opening the hips, and it might be tender for you or not, just notice. Keep your big toes connected as you lift back up onto knees, your hips above knees. Make sure you can ground into knees, and then walk your hands forwards, your forehead to mat. Your big toes still touching, your hips above knees. Relax your feet and roll your upper arms outwards. Roll your outer shoulder blades down towards earth. Let your sternum sink into earth. And continue to move and meander your awareness through body, and notice, where am I resisting? Where am I holding on tight? What might my mind be saying about this? And can I transcend? Can I push beyond that? Can I witness all that is happening with curiosity? Your attention to your exhalations. Exhaling yourself into earth, into yourself, into gravity. Another inhale, and as you exhale, you slide your sit bones to heels. You let your torso drop into the space between knees, and you might find your sternum on mat, maybe your chin, or just your forehead with your sternum releasing down into mat. Relax your shoulders, continue to slide your shoulder blades apart and melt into mat. So not resisting anything, melt your tailbone, your sit bones down to heels and melt into mat. Another inhale and deep full surrender exhalation as we come back onto hands and knees. So grounding, hands shoulder wide. The knees come hip wide, the toes tuck under, and we find our downward facing dog. Arriving in your down dog, lift and lower your heels, stretch your toes out. Now turn around again. And then slowly coming forwards, and now we stay in down dog, we lift our left leg up. Left leg reaches up. And then looking forward, see the space between your hands, and then find your left foot landing there, and it can have as much help as it might need. Bring your right knee down, point your right toes back. How about we come onto fingertips and just gently move, rolling your hips left and right, swaying from side to side, and continuously adding weight into heel,
into knee, exploring our range of movement, exploring our edges of comfort zone. And in your own time, bring your left foot over to outside edge of mat. Left hand to inner foot. And again, soften here. If you feel there's more space, come onto elbows, turn your palms up. So left foot is fully grounded into mat, knee above heel. Left shoulder and knee connected. Notice whether your knees are pulling towards one another or if you can strive them away from one another. At any point, you're welcome to close your eyes. Focus your attention on breath again. Inhale, let it come, and exhale deeply. Exhale with the intention of melting into mat. Really giving into gravity. Nothing to hold on to, nothing to control. Simply being. Letting go of anything, everything that's not this moment. Letting go of all that is not curiosity. Shedding our layers like snakes shedding skin. Making space. Let's take another deep inhale here and exhale to go a little deeper. And in your own time, find your way back onto hands. We tuck our back toes under, lift our back knee, and then roll our back heel down. You'll see the pinky toe side parallel to the short side of your mat. It's like warrior two legs. And then swaying forwards and back. How low can you go? How far can you reach your knees apart? And it's different for all of us. Fully be where you're at. No wrong, no right. Nowhere else to be but you here and now. Breathe and flow. Imagine you were made of water. Strive your knees away from one another. Notice those points where you feel like grinding teeth or where emotions rise like anger or sadness. And welcome everything. Use your exhalations to let everything go. And we'll meet with our shoulders above our hands. Roll back onto right toes. Hands shoulder wide. Let them ground into earth. And then reach your left leg back into three-legged downward facing dog. A bit of a lift, a bit of a reach. Look forward. And release the leg down. Feet hip wide. We walk our hands to feet. We find our feet grounding evenly. We slide our hands up the shins onto knees or wherever they need to go. Find length through your front torso, through your legs, and then exhale that length into a forward fold. Soft. Sit bones striving up, yet you're moving organically. Stack your sit bones above your feet. Shift your weight forwards and back and side to side. Balance yourself out. Strong foundation so that we can surrender. Round yourself up to stand and roll your shoulders back a few times as you come up. Feel your shoulder blades slide up and down and forwards and back and side to side. And we lift our arms through the sides up. We reach a little further, maybe even onto toes. Inhale deeply and then exhale. Shake it out. So we inhale. It just happens by itself and we focus on the and inhaling, reaching up, exhale. Inhale, up and exhale. And you can do this as slow or as fast as you like. You inhale to fill yourself up and exhale. Shake it all out. Inhale and let it all go. And till you're empty. And 3 more. And we meet with our arms above our head And just slowly exhale them through the sides in line with thighs, standing tall. Close your eyes for a moment, bring your hands together, rest your thumbs on your sternum, feel your heart beat. Open your eyes, we inhale our arms through the sides and up. We exhale to sit back into Utkatasana, straight through Utkatasana into forward fold. Looking at the front of our mat, walking our hands to the front, finding our plank. Staying here for a moment. Elbows tuck into hips, point to back corners of the mat. Notice what this feels like. Notice what your mind is saying. Maybe it's saying, oh no, not again. I don't like this. Notice how much chatter goes on in our heads all day long. And who could we be if we didn't listen to that all day long? Or if we listened to it without believing it, how about that? What might we be capable of doing, of achieving, of being, if we didn't listen to that little voice in our heads? Roll onto outside left foot. Alternatively, bring your left knee onto mat for support. You decide. And rise into opposite arm. Stack your hips, stack your shoulders. And without thinking about it, without listening to that little voice, see if there's energy and space to lift and expand. I like calling this Big Bang. I almost feel like it's a body exploding, expanding, and we come back down to center. We recenter, and again, either onto outside edge of foot or the knee supporting you, and not thinking about it, just doing it, just flowing, just giving ourselves permission to be like we might have never been before. Play, surprise yourself, reach, breathe, notice and observe. Hand comes down, foot comes down, plank, and we meet in child's pose. Take a deep inhale through your nose and then exhale with a sigh. Exhale it out. Do another 2 of these. We lift our gaze. We bring our hands forwards. Reach them as far forward as you can with your sit bones still on heels. And spread your fingers wide. Slide forwards, moving onto hands and knees. And then dropping hips, lifting heart into a cobra variation. Tuck your elbows into hips and really lift your sternum, collarbones wide, shoulder blades wide. Feel your index finger base grounded. Push mat away. Another inhale here, and as you exhale, you flow back into child's pose. And go through a couple of these flows in your own pace, in your own way, linking to your own breath. Stay where you need to stay. Be where you need to be. Explore where you need to explore. Let this movement flow through you as if you're becoming the passenger. So you're not the one controlling anymore. It's a movement that flows through you and you take a step back witnessing it. Let's do another 2 more. And when you're done with those 2 rounds, we come into child's pose. From child's pose, we slide our hands in towards us and round ourselves up to sit on heels. We soften and sit ourselves up tall, rolling shoulders maybe, finding space, coming onto knees. And we tuck our toes under and sit onto our heels. So our heels are above our toes, and then our sit bones on our heels. And find your own alternative. You're in your own space, use props, whatever works for you. But if you can do this, just sit on it, that's great. Now we reach our arms to the sides and up. We'll bring our right hand onto spine between our shoulder blades. We'll drop our left hand through the side, bring it around and find our right hand. And if we can't find our hand, we just rest our hand onto our back body, wherever it lands. So right palm is on spine, left palm gazes backwards. And then we open our elbows back and away from one another. Keep your weight in your heels. Check into your spine. Can you point your tailbone down a little more? Can you lift from the navel into heart? Really open shoulders back, open elbows back. And be with whatever you're feeling. Undo it. Reach your arms up. Stay on your heels if you can. Left hand comes onto spine, right hand comes around. Reaches up, maybe finds the left or maybe not. And then open chest, open elbows back. Notice where you're trying to compromise to not feel what you're feeling. Keep your weight in your heels. Open your chest, lift your navel up and in, point your tailbone down and away and open your heart, open and reach. Feel your feet, be in everything. Keep your attention with your exhalations. Release and bring your hands forward. Hands and knees, point your toes away and feel, just feel blood rushing back into feet. Feel the tops of your feet grounding into mat. And notice how something one moment feels like it's unbearable and a moment later it's gone. Lift onto knees. Your toes are pointing away and your hands move to your back legs, pointing tailbone down, strong here, and then just gently turning palms up, maybe thumbs outwards. So you really open your chest. Right hand comes onto thigh. And let's just lift the left arm up for a moment and see if we can lean back into ourselves a little more. Tailbone reaches forwards. You really need to connect and focus on your exhalations. Soften with every exhalation. Slowly coming to center, swapping sides. Right arm up. Left hand comes around. Hips reach forwards. Navel up and in. Spine long as you reach back. And if you feel quite confident, maybe the hand comes down, both hands down. For some of us, the hands land on feet. And this pose is no forcing. It's core strength. It's being in your center. It's trusting the ground under your knees and feet and then surrendering into it. Open your throat. Open the muscles between your ribs. Let yourself be exposed and open and vulnerable. And then bring your chin to chest, slowly come out, strong center, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, gently circling, swaying, rounding, arching spine. See what's true for you. And in your own time, find your down dog. Lifting hips up and away, shaking head no. Bringing attention to exhalation again. Soften into your exhale, soften into your down dog. Coming into plank. And plank in your own perfect way, lower yourself down all the way onto mat. Lengthen your legs away, point your toes. Feel all toes on the mat. Your kneecaps gently lifted. And then right elbow slide it out to the side. Turn your gaze left, so right cheek is on the mat, left hand under left shoulder, and you roll onto your side, onto your right hand side. So if you were the floor, I would look like this. Elbow is in line with shoulder. There's a 90 degrees and 90 degrees, and left hand is here. And then what you're doing is you're opening the right chest, the right collarbone, the right shoulder. And the left leg might come up or it might just stack on your right.
Point your tailbone down and away. Point your tailbone to heels. Lift your navel up and in. If you can, lift your head slightly back. Slide your shoulder blades down. And be here. Find your edge. Focus on your exhalations. Let go of tension you're holding. A lot of fear we store in our shoulders. Fear we store in our collarbones. Can we open that up? Can we open our chest? Reconnect with what's courageous within us. Coming back onto tummy. Now right hand rests on mat under right shoulder and left elbow comes out to the side. Have a look. You have your 90 degrees here and 90 degrees here, palm flat, and then pressing right hand into mat, rolling onto left hand side, looking over to the right. Your head is resting on the mat. Make sure there's lots of space between left shoulder and elbow, so lengthen it away. And your right foot might stack on left, or for some of us the knee might be on the mat because there's not so much space to move. See what works for you. Find your edge. Point your tailbone to heels. Lift your navel up and in and soften your shoulders away. Let every inhalation come as it does and focus on your exhalation. Opening into heart. Opening the neck. Surrendering into gravity. If your eyes are closed, turn your inner gaze to third eye center. And then coming back onto tummy. We stack our hands and rest our forehead onto hands for a moment. Elbows out to the sides. And just swaying heels left and right. Let your legs become still. Feel the sensations around the shoulders. Lift your head off your hands. Bring your hands under shoulders. Gently pushing hands into mat. Lift your gaze, lift your heart. Make sure your hip flexors are wide and open. Then slide your hands forwards as you lift your heart a little higher. So you're welcome to bring your legs apart if you need to. Point your elbows into hips and point your fingers to corners of the mat, slightly outwards, and lift your heart a little higher. Slide your shoulder blades down. Lift into collarbones. Elbows pointing to hip bones. Your knees are lifted, the tops of your feet are resting into mat. And find what's spacious here. Again, check in. Where am I resisting? Where am I building tension? Bring your attention to your exhalations. Let go. Stay for another deep inhale. And as you exhale, you soften down onto earth. Forehead onto hands. Feel your body be supported by mat. Rest into it. Lift your head and lift yourself up onto hands and knees. And just for a brief moment, we'll turn our body sideways on our mat. So the knees come wide and we slide them away from one another. Have a look over your shoulders. Flex your feet, point your toes out to the sides if you can. This is a frog pose. Bring your hands forwards and then check your hips there in line with your knees. Your shins are parallel, so looking left, looking right. Your inner ankles are on the mat. And now you can be still here, or if there is space, gently sway forwards and back. And notice where you're resisting. If there's even more space for you, you're quite comfortable here, you can come onto elbows. And keep swaying. Keep moving. Keep expanding your range of movement with every breath. Every exhale, letting go. Trusting earth, trusting yourself, really. Keep witnessing. Stay with it. If you can slide your knees further apart, you're welcome to do so. If you can arch and round your spine by tilting pelvis forwards and back, you're welcome to do so. And feel, witness all that comes up when things get really challenging. Witness your own vulnerability and your ways and means to protect yourself. All these patterns coming up as we give it time and listen and observe without getting tangled. Let's all make our way back onto hands. And then walk your hands a little closer. See if you can bring your big toes together behind you. And you might be able to sit yourself down onto mat between your feet. And if not, find your own alternative. Sit high and tall here for a moment. For your sit bones, connect to earth, or they might not actually, but just the direction, the intention. With your eyes closed, notice, feel. Feel how maybe one part of your body is quite challenged and the rest of your body follows. So if you can really be intentional in being spacious, leaning into the discomfort with the open heart, with courage. And then open your eyes again, find your way into Shavasana. So fully letting your body guide you. It might need something else. It might need a twist. Your body might need a downward facing dog. Your body might need something warm on. Your body might need nothing, just Shavasana. So follow your own inner knowing. No wrong, no right. In your own way, find yourself down onto mat. Sacrum grounded, spine grounded. The heels resting on mat, the toes flopping outwards. The hands alongside your hips. Your shoulder blades gently tucked under without compromising on the length in your spine. And relax. Relax your head into mat. Shift around, move around, and then be intentional in becoming still. Be still in your body. Drop into earth. To anchor that intention, you might want to take a deep inhale through your nose. Deep, 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 deep. And then open mouth. Exhale yourself into stillness. If you like, you do a couple of these breaths. And when done, you're still. Nothing moves. Every impulse, every trigger to move is acknowledged, is embraced, it is noticed, and it is let go. From this space of stillness, continue to follow your breath, not changing it, not doing anything with your breath, but witnessing it. Maybe attention towards the exhalation. Let your forehead soften, the space between eyebrows. Keep looking up, third eye center.
continue to witness. Witnessing the lightness, the spaciousness, the comfort of Shavasana with the same intensity and the same sense of detachment as we witness the challenges. Experience each and every bit of sensation and breath with an open heart and an open mind. Let go of the idea that you know anything. Dare to move and breathe and be in this world from a space of not knowing, a space of openness and being vulnerable to just being. Surrender to not knowing. And from that space, you learn, you grow, you evolve. You make space for whatever lives within you to come through and show up and step into this world, inspiring others to do the same. Notice how earth holds you, how there's wholeness in every moment if we just look for it. How every moment is perfect in its own way. And remember that this space you're in right now, that's a space that rests within you. Wherever you go, whatever you do. Whatever your circumstances and whatever the world around you presents to you, that space is there within. That stillness, that openness, that spaciousness that's great enough to hold whatever comes your way. Bring your awareness back to breath with a gentle invitation to breath to deepen. Maybe taking a few deep inhalations and again exhaling, sighing it out. Inhaling deeply and sighing it out. Let this bring movement into your body. And when you're ready in your own way, let this lift you up to seated, to finding your sit bones. Your eyes still closed, just be in space, be part of space. Once we're up to seated, we bring our hands together and gently rest our thumbs onto sternum. Really resting there, lift your sternum high, let your shoulders drop, your elbows drop, lift your gaze. Let's take a deep inhale here together, and as we exhale we bow, gazing inwards and taking this as a gesture of thanking ourselves and bowing to this inner wisdom, bowing to this inner being that moves us and lives through us. As we do so, we thank ourselves and we thank one another at the same time. Straighten up and gently open your eyes. I thank you all for joining tonight and journeying so courageously into the boundaries of your comfort zone, into surrendering and letting go. And I invite you to let this be a warm-up for your week, for your day, let there be something that you take off your mat into your day that reminds you. And if it's just a deep exhalation once in a while throughout your day, let it remind you that you don't have to hold on, and you don't have to know, and you don't have to. You can just be, you can just breathe it out and see what happens. I thank you all. Have a beautiful night. Namaste.